Hello and welcome to another episode of Wheel of Horror, the podcast where two best friends spin a wheel once a week. It chooses the horror film and they discuss it. Today we are talking 2014's The Taking of Deborah Logan, which was directed by Adam Robitel. I am your co-host Alec, and filling in for Eric today. Eric couldn't make it, but we got a great guest. We got Stevie Caruso filling in. Welcome to the show, Stevie.
Hello. Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, no, I'm really excited to have you because this is your first time. So
Yeah.
it's always nice to have new people because we have a lot of repeat guests, but I'm really excited when we have new ones. So welcome, welcome.
Nice. Thank you.
Yeah, and you're friends with Mike Molino, who does all
I
of our
am.
social media. Yeah, and you're a tattoo artist. Am I correct?
I am. Yes.
That's
Yeah. If you,
awesome.
if I plug my Instagram, is that acceptable?
Please, please.
Yeah. It's Stevie.Caruso.tattoo on Instagram if you want to see my work.
That's awesome. And you're
Mr.
also
Molino's
in,
on there.
yes, exactly. And you're in the Boston area, right?
Connecticut.
Oh, you're in Connecticut.
Yeah. So he
Oh,
comes to see me when he's visiting home and stuff.
well, where in Connecticut?
In Torrington, in like the northwest corner.
Oh, that's awesome, man. I'm from Avon.
Oh, are
So,
you really? Okay.
yeah. Oh, that's so
I
sick.
the shop that I used to be at was in Avon actually, so I was there for like 10 years.
No way.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
so, wait, which shop? I'm so curious because I'm
At the Beauty Mark.
okay. That's sick, man.
Yeah.
Wow, that's so random. I had no idea.
Yeah.
So
The
that's
world
really
gets
cool.
pretty small up in this corner.
Yeah. So this is so random, but there is a horror film that was filmed in Torrington. Do you
Yeah.
know The House of the Devil? You know that movie?
Oh, no, no, no. I haven't seen that actually.
Oh.
I thought you were going to talk about there's a scene in the original Beetlejuice where on the
Mm.
side of the mover's truck there's a phone number and it actually like shows the businesses from Torrington. I
I
thought that's what you were going to talk about.
I think you're right too, because yeah, it takes place in Connecticut, Beetlejuice, but they filmed it in Vermont.
Yeah, yeah, it's supposed to.
Yeah. But no, so the House of the Devil is Ty West, you know that director?
No.
Oh, okay. He
Oh, I haven't
did
seen that.
X and Pearl and Maxine, all those new movies.
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
this was a movie he did in 2009. Yeah, it's called House of the Devil, and it was all filmed in
Oh,
Torrington.
I'll have to check that out.
Yeah, it's
I know that
sick.
they made a movie once, like years ago, about the Yankee Peddler, because there's a hotel in Torrington. It's been shut down for years, but the business is called the Yankee Peddler, and there's like legends and stuff like that about it being haunted and stuff. So there's actually a movie. I don't remember the name of it, but there is a movie about the Yankee Peddler. I don't know if it was actually filmed there, but it's about it.
Oh, geez. Yeah, there's so much good stuff in Connecticut, like so many horror movies and,
Yeah,
Dudley Town and the
I
Green Lane
know.
Cemetery. There's a lot of creepy stuff there.
Yeah,
Yeah, I know I miss it. When I come back, I'm always like, this is sick. This is scary.
there's a lot of like generational evil.
Seems like it. Yeah, and the Warrens or the Conjuring, like
I
that's
know.
stirred up so much. So, yeah, well, good. We got another Connecticut guy in here. This is
Yeah.
great. Yeah, so today we're talking Deborah Logan. But
Yes.
before we get into that, I wanted to ask you, since you are a first-time guest,
Sure.
what is your favorite horror film? I know it's a huge question. So if not
It's
that, what's your
it's
favorite like
so
genre?
hard to narrow it down to just one. But honestly, so one of my favorites is the original Pet Cemetery. But
Hmm.
for all the wrong reasons though. It cracks me up so much.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
the whole scene with Gate, I swear to God, have you guys already talked about it on the
Oh
podcast?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So the scene where Gage, like near the end of the movie, when he like falls backwards and hits his head, I'm like, somebody's job was to just shove that child.
Yeah, yeah.
Because like he very legitimately falls backwards and hits his head.
Yep.
And like there's also I love stuff that's not supposed to be there. There's a scene when the father is waking up from like a nightmare
Mhm.
and he like rolls and falls out of bed. And if you watch it, he blasts his eye socket on the corner of the nightstand.
Yes. Yep.
Super, super real, super legitimately
Yep.
messed his face up. And and it's in the movie because that obviously was like the best take, but it's like
Right.
when you see him no sell it, like he hits and doesn't call attention, like that's super real.
Yeah, that movie is incredible. And you're right, it is
Yeah.
very funny at the end when the kid's just like, not fair, and he's
Yeah,
like
yeah,
on the
no
wall.
fair. No
Yeah.
fair. That kills
Dude,
me every time.
it's so funny you mentioned this specifically because the truck that hits the kid,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
So it's crazy. That's a real company. It's called
Is it
Conoco
really?
Oil. Yeah. And when we were doing the podcast, we were like, what company would be like, oh yeah, you can use one of our trucks for this?
I
Like,
guess no press is, or like any press is good press. What is it?
I don't know what they were thinking, but I just saw another one of those on the road this weekend when I was driving. I was like,
Oh,
that's
really?
a Conoco oil truck. I was like, Jesus, what a dumb move that was for that company to be
Amazing.
like that. Yeah. But yeah, no, that's a great movie. Zelda is so scary, the makeup and
Yeah.
that. Yeah. No, that's a good one. I actually haven't seen the remake.
I
But
started, they made like the series, right? Like Pet Sematary, what was it, Bloodlines?
yep, yep.
I like watched a couple episodes. I don't know. Maybe it's just because the like original has like such a special place for me that when I tried to watch it, I was like, it's just not the same. But
Yeah. You've seen the sequel though, Pet Sematary 2?
I think so. I think I may have only seen it like once.
Oh, you gotta watch that.
I'll
I'm
have to go
I'm
back.
pretty sure it's the same director and it's off the chain. It's
Oh, oh
Clancy
wait, yeah,
Brown.
that's the one with like the dog and stuff in it too, right? Like, isn't the
Yep, it's Clancy Brown and Edward Furlong. He's got a dog.
yes, yes,
It's
yes,
yeah,
yes.
yeah.
I have seen it. I haven't seen it in a while, but I have. Now that you're talking about it, yes, I have seen it.
Check that one out. That one's bonkers, but it's fun.
Yeah,
But yeah, okay, so six. So let's get into some Deborah Logan. So you
I
chose this film.
I
Yeah, tell me
did.
about it.
I rewatched it like 4 or 5 times in preparation.
Oh my God.
I wanted to be. It's better to be too prepared than to be unprepared. I have
Right.
like pages of notes to like try to like. And let me tell. So in watching it again and again, it's become one of my favorites. Like
Nice.
I liked the movie anyway, but there's so much to it that like I missed the first time around. That going back and watching it, I really developed an even fuller appreciation for it, and I love this movie.
Nice. Okay, that's awesome. Because yeah, I've seen it a couple times, and I watched it, and yesterday.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
yeah, there's some parts I'm confused on, so I'm gonna probably be asking you some
Oh, good.
questions. Let's
Yeah,
go.
yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. So when was the first time you saw this?
I probably saw it around the time that it came out. I feel like I
Hmm.
remember seeing it, or maybe it wasn't when it first came out. I saw it on, I don't know, Netflix or whatever streaming service had it at the time. It's on like Tubi now, which just seems crazy to me. But I looked it up too because I think doesn't Eric normally do like all the numbers and the stats and stuff like that too?
Yeah, exactly.
I was curious about it, and I didn't realize how big of a flop it was. Like
Yeah.
it fell so far short of what the budget was, which is crazy to me. It feels like such a sleeper. It's
Yeah.
so good.
It wasn't in theaters though, right? It was straight to video on demand, or was
Oh,
it in
maybe
theater?
that's why it was so bad then. But I didn't see that part of it specifically. I don't know if it got a theater release.
Let's see. Release electronic sell through, yeah, October 21st, 2014, video on demand and
Oh,
DVD.
okay,
So that might be why it didn't make a lot of money.
that'll do it.
Yeah, but the reviews are very good.
It's a great movie.
Yeah, no, it is. It is. And it came out at a time where found footage was like I don't know if it was towards the tail end of the success of it, because, Blair
Mm,
Witch, obviously, but then Paranormal Activity came out and you had
yeah,
so many of them around this time. And I wonder if this was like people were getting tired of it. I don't know. I don't know why it didn't do
maybe.
better.
I wonder if it was originally like slated for an actual full release, and then they just like reeled it back in and said, you know what, just maybe they didn't want to push for because I'm sure marketing and everything costs so much money that maybe they just doubled back and said, just release it since it's made, but they're not going to like put their full confidence behind it or whatever.
This definitely would have been on Shutter if it came out like today. I feel like it would have been like a Shutter
Yeah,
original, but there's no there's no big star in it. I think that's the reason they
I
probably
know.
studio wouldn't have had, a big like push for it. But
Yeah.
the actress that played Deborah Logan was good though. Like
I
that.
so I looked her up because she has like one of those famous faces where you're like, I feel like I've seen her. So her name is Jill Larson.
Hmm.
She's famous from All My Children, the soap opera.
Yeah, yeah.
So like she's a legit actress, but like I haven't seen her in any other movies, but she is so good. There's so many moments where she like slow burns at the camera and it's like you feel it. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like it sets you back and you're like, "Oh shit." Like you can see so much like anger and it's just so good.
Well, you know what I did? I was like, there's no way this is that lady. And I looked it up and it is. Have you seen Shutter Island, the Martin Scorsese movie with
Yeah,
Leonardo
yeah,
DiCaprio?
yeah.
There's this one really like skinny lady out in the yard and her eyes are big and buggy. And it's in the trailer. And you see Leo like
Oh,
as he's entering the asylum, he's just like making
mm.
eye contact with her. That's the same actress.
Oh, that's so good.
Yeah, so she's got a very distinct look. But this
She
character, oh, sorry, go ahead, go ahead.
No, no, I was just gonna say it's funny because she to me, for whatever reason, I don't know if it's her facial structure, she looks like an older version of Alice Eve,
Yeah, I
the
know what
girl
you're talking about.
from
Yeah.
She's Out of My League.
Yep, yep, yep.
She looks like an older, like thinner version of her for some reason. I don't know if it's just the shape of her face or what it is, but she reminds me of her.
I can see that. I can definitely see. Yeah, she looks, yeah, like a 60s or like 50s like hot
Yeah,
actress who's like old now, basically.
yeah,
But yeah, I could definitely see that.
yeah. She looks
Yeah,
like she would have been like a pinup or something like that in that
yeah.
era.
I know, and her character's really interesting because she seems like she's like a prim and proper housewife, but she was a
Yeah.
single mother who had to work
Hmm.
the whole time too and maintain this house and everything. So like
Yeah.
they do a really great job of character development with each of these
They
characters.
they did, and there's a lot of subtext. And I also on the last watch, there's so many moments of foreshadowing that
Hmm.
like it's one of those things where you don't really realize it's foreshadowing until you see what they're alluding to, and then you go back, and then the next time you're watching, you're like, oh, okay. Like every time a snake shows up, every
Hmm.
time there's like they talk about the switchboard and stuff. There's all these little moments where it's watching it back, you're like, oh, okay, that's gonna mean something later.
Yeah, I figured the switchboard, her working that job was kind of like her brain, like,
Yeah,
her
yeah.
demons were able to come in and I don't
Actually,
know.
I didn't even put that part together, but it is kind of almost symbolic of like because she's the whole premise is that she's dealing with Alzheimer's. She's in it's supposed to at the beginning it's supposed to be fairly early stages still, and
Mhm.
they're documenting because that's the whole kind of like the what's the word the like inciting action or whatever where they're
Right.
that's the reason that they're there is to document and do this whole study about her Alzheimer's. And it's almost symbolic of that in a way. The switchboard with like all the different wires being crossed, like it is symbolic of like the trouble in her brain.
Yeah, that's kind of why I thought they did that because I'm like, that's a really specific job. Like, I don't know.
Yeah,
But yeah, it was interesting. Yeah, so that's exactly the whole premise is a found footage film. So
yeah.
are you into those kind of movies or is that a genre you
It,
like?
sometimes if it's done properly, yes. But I feel like so what for me, just in general with any horror movie, I hate jump scares
Hmm.
because they do not work on me.
Yeah.
I do not get startled by any of it. If you throw something at the screen and like hit the violin strings real quick, it doesn't do anything for me.
Yeah.
It just all it does is makes my eyes roll.
Yeah, I'm pretty much there with you too. Yeah, I don't like
Yeah.
that. And especially this is something I hate and I'm waiting for a found footage movie to not do this is jump scares that have music that they're
Yeah.
not hearing that we're hearing,
Right.
like
Like why would that be there?
yeah, why would that ever be there? Like somebody has this like horror
Yeah.
footage in like, Final Cut and they're like, "All right, let's put in like some score right here." Like
Yeah.
who's doing this?
We're
Like
releasing this to the public, but before we do,
yeah,
we could really use a scary noise here.
it's drives me crazy. So many horror
It's
movie
like
found
fourth wall
footage.
breaking.
It is, and I'm waiting. I mean, I don't think Blair Witch did that. There are a few that haven't. I don't think
Mm.
Paranormal Activity has either, but yeah, a lot of
Yeah.
them definitely do, and this one did, unfortunately. But it's a found footage movie, which I do like. I'm partial to them. I'll give them a pass on a
Yeah.
lot of things, but yeah, I do enjoy them. I forgot that this was found footage for some reason, but
It's kind of it's an interesting blend though because it is kind of found footage, but I guess the Blair Witch is the same premise that they're there filming a documentary and then
mhm,
it's found after the fact. So literally found footage, but
mhm.
maybe it's just because it's like polished or because it's they have better technology and stuff. But it plays better than like the later Blair Witches where they're also having like I listened to the podcast the other day when you guys were talking about the newer Blair Witch and was like that is part of it is it's almost has too much polish where it doesn't feel believable where you're like and I get that like anybody could just go buy like a 4K GoPro but it still just doesn't play the same way.
Right. Yeah, exactly. So this movie, you're right. It kind of blurred the line a little bit. It wasn't too
Yeah,
polished. Yeah, it's definitely not as overdone as the Blair Witch 2016.
yeah,
Um, but yeah, no, but I like the premise of the film though, where it's a found footage thesis for a PhD on
right.
Alzheimer's. So they're going and they're interviewing different people as subjects,
Mhm,
and they settle on Deborah Logan. And it's even that, like, that's a, interesting premise, sure, but the
mhm.
idea of a woman who has Alzheimer's but is also dealing with a demonic possession, so everything
Right,
gets blamed on the Alzheimer's, is
right.
such a scary concept.
And it blurs the line so perfectly between like, okay, because obviously you know it's a movie, so you know something's going on,
Mhm.
but it very quickly becomes, okay, is this like a demonic possession kind of thing, or is this the Alzheimer? And you don't know in any given moment what it's attributed to, what it actually is caused by.
Yeah, exactly. Especially in the beginning, it's just kind of like weird stuff. She's standing randomly certain places. And
Yeah, yeah.
one image that scared the hell out of me in the beginning is when she's like playing the piano and just like looking
Oh
at the
my God.
camera. Like,
So that moment too, so that's one of those things where it's foreshadowing and there's subtext there because she's locked onto the camera, which is supposed to be in a spot that she doesn't really know about, and it's dark, and she's playing Frere Jacques,
yeah.
which is it's a French song, like children's song specifically, because like the guy, the kind of antagonist, the unseen antagonist is
Mhm.
a French man
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
specifically targeting children. So it's like it gives you this moment of like that's maybe him coming through, like maybe he's playing the piano.
I didn't even put that together till now. You're right. Yeah.
I tell you, I like what broke everything down. I was like, hold on. I was like, I know the song. I was like, let me look it up, and was like, yeah, there's little things like that throughout this whole movie.
Yeah, you're totally right. Yeah, because eventually, we'll kind of stumble through the film here a little bit, and we'll
Yeah,
hit key
sorry.
points. No, no, I like it. I like it. I like this, especially with found footage because it is kind of choppy. But yeah, so there's this crew that's doing the Alzheimer, documentary, but then we ultimately find out that Deborah Logan is possessed by the spirit of a guy named, I think it's Henry, like J Desjardins or something like
Yeah,
that.
Desjardins.
Desjardins. And
Yeah,
I think he was French Canadian, I think, and from
that sounds
Quebec.
right. Yeah.
Yeah, and he basically murdered four children, four
Yes.
girls with this like serpent cult thing. And he was about to murder his fifth, which is Deborah
Hmm.
Logan's daughter, Sarah.
Right.
But then something went wrong,
Yeah.
and
So they
Deborah
they,
killed him, right?
they kind of like they drip little bits of information because they don't even mention Desjardins until like halfway through the film.
Right.
But yeah, it's this whole thing where they say they eventually like the crew brings up the documentary about him, and they like get more stuff, and they later on talk to the historian about it and stuff too.
And that kind of feels like a real like documentary series on like Netflix or something like that. Like there's some new evidence that comes
Right.
in like the fifth episode and it like changes
Yeah, yeah.
everything. Like,
As things are developed, yeah. Because so at the so if we want to go from the beginning at all, so
yeah, 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 yeah. Let's do it. Let's do it.
so they get in, and it's so also Sarah Logan, the daughter, is played by Anne Ramsey.
Mm,
She's in so many different things. Like she was in Dexter.
right.
She's been in a bunch she's I love her. Anytime I see her in anything, like she's never the main character, but she's always good.
Yeah, she reminded me of was a young Lin Shay. You know that actress?
No, not by name anyway.
She's the older woman in the Insidious series. She's also in
Oh. Is
doesn't
she the mom in Detroit Rock City?
yes, she
She looks
is.
like her.
Yes, she
Is that
is.
her? Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. She's
She's
in
in
like
Kingpin.
Kingpin. She's in
Yeah,
Something
yeah.
About Mary. She's in a lot of stuff,
Oh,
but
she's fantastic.
but she
She does
looks.
kind of look similar.
I was like, is that her daughter? But yeah, no,
There's
she's
some
not.
it's a movie filled with lookalikes.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, she's a great actress. So believable. It was like a
Oh
daughter
yeah.
who's been like raised in this situation. She like nailed it.
Yeah. She seems genuine anytime I see her in anything, honestly.
Yeah,
She's always believable.
totally. She's like a great like character actor. She's just like she reminds me of like an
Yeah.
aunt or something like that. You're just like a
Yeah.
cool aunt. But
So their driving force to like why they're accepting because when they first get there, Deborah's like not happy. She like is trying to back out, and she's like, I'm not sure I want to do this. She doesn't want it to be exploitative or anything like that. And so, and that's the first time. So the crew kind of says like, oh no, they're helping with her bills, and like Sarah and Deborah are kind of arguing and discussing because Sarah's like, we need the help, like we need to pay the bills, and because like I'm sure medical expenses are piling up on top of like their normal expenses. And that's the first moment where the documentary crew, they're filming through the window from the outside,
Mm-hmm.
this private moment between Deborah and Sarah. And that's the first glimpse where like Deborah locks in and sees the camera, and you see her face just like it just turns to pure like hatred. And it's that first moment of like, ooh, there's something dark in there.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. And yeah, so since you've seen it so many times, like when Mia, like the film crew, they get there and
Mhm.
Sarah is, yeah, they know that they need the money sort of thing.
Right.
Is you think Sarah is the only one that wants this? Because she makes it sound like Deborah wants this sort of thing. She's like, oh, she's very excited that you're here. She's been
Yeah.
gardening. Do you think this is all just Sarah lying?
I think Sarah's the one that sold it to Deborah, is what it seems like,
Hmm.
and really harping on the fact that like it's gonna be they're gonna focus on you, like learn a bit about your illness and your brain, and also kind of show that she's not just the illness, that there's more to her, that she's a real person in there still, like because they want to show like they show her painting, they show her gardening. She's always very, like you said, very like prim and proper, like very well put together.
Yeah.
And I feel like she still is holding on to that, like holding on to her identity and trying not to lose herself.
Right.
Um, but that's her main thing, is she doesn't want it to be an exploitation. She wants it to be educational. And Mia lies to her. Mia lies and says that like her grandfather, her father had the disease. And then they walk away, and the crew's like, "You didn't tell us that." And she's like, "Shut up, I'm lying."
Yeah, that
Just
was
like,
messed up. That's pretty
yeah,
messed up to like she said like they
it's
need a little bit
manipulative.
of pushing or something like
Yeah,
that. And I was like, that's very exploitative.
yeah,
But I don't know. I guess by the end she comes around to it, but
yeah.
um yeah, so then they like leave for a little while because it makes Deborah's like, I don't want to do this, I don't want to do this. But then
Right.
it's like 1 week later and it's like,
Yeah, I was gonna
hi.
say they just like smash cut to then when they're actually going there, and she's welcoming them and like, hey, come on, and she's like put together and she's all dressed up and she's happy to see them.
Yeah, because they probably do need the money. I mean, if
Yeah,
Deborah's not working, Sarah, I don't know if she's working. I don't think we ever find out if she has a job.
she doesn't talk about a job. It seems like she's a full-time caregiver. Like
Yeah.
it seems like she's at least at the stage in Alzheimer's where she needs care, because I think they talk about it at some point about like wanting to hire somebody, but they don't. She's just there to take care of her because she doesn't. I don't. She maybe is too proud. I don't remember that
Mhm.
specifically, but there it seems like she would be.
Yeah. So, and they have a big property. So it's like,
Yeah,
they are probably desperate for money. And this is something that kind of like can help everybody. Like, even
yeah,
Deborah says, like, this is educational to a degree. So, like, it'll
right.
help people. So, yeah, it all makes sense. Everything's lined up. So they do come back. And at this point, they're kind of like setting it up and they're showing them around and everything like that.
Yeah, she's giving them a tour of the house, and like there's a part where Sarah and Deb are showing. She has like a collection of little porcelain children,
Mm-hmm.
which is important later. But she shows them and is talking about them, and she says something about like that she thinks they're German, and she's like, "Oh, I've never been to Germany," and she's like, "Yes, you have," and
Right.
Deb seems like almost angry, just like conceptually about Germany, and it's like again, you don't know. Like, is it the all? Is she upset that she can't remember? It's not clear.
Yeah. Yeah, and then she forgets the bird too on
Yeah,
the
yeah, in
wall
the
and
wallpaper,
yeah. So yeah, it's the actress does a good job of just like kind of
she
playing
really
it
does.
really like on the edge of like what is this?
The other
Yeah.
thing with it too is I feel like so often I feel like a lot of like filmmakers and like in horror in any genre, they feel the need to explain every single thing,
Mm,
which sometimes you don't have to. Sometimes not knowing is more terrifying than this like fully thought out explanation of why something happens
Oh
or
my
what
God.
something is.
So much more. And then as long
Yeah.
as they give you enough to like it's in a box at least and you can be like, okay, I know what to be afraid of at least.
Right.
And also like showing stuff is so much scarier when you don't show it.
Yeah.
Or the tiniest glimpse is better. The Blair Witch
Yeah.
does it perfectly. You never see freaking like anything in
I
that
know.
movie.
That movie was so good. So I don't know how old you are, but I'm assuming if you're close to my age, then like, do you remember? Were you old enough to remember when the movie came out?
Yeah, so I'm 35, so I was 9 when
Okay.
it came out, and
Okay.
I,
I'm
I was
40, so
a
I'm like right around there too.
okay, yeah, so it was like a blockbuster for me. Like my mom
Yeah.
rented it, and I was like, oh my God, this is so
That
scary.
so that when that movie came out, there was so there really wasn't a big like found footage genre the way that there is now.
Right,
When that movie came out, people legitimately did not know if it was real.
right,
It's the only time I can recall that ever,
yeah.
where people didn't know if they were because they weren't famous actors. It was a bunch of nobodies.
Hmm.
So nobody knew if it was actors until I don't know if you remember. It was like the MTV like VMAs, like the Video Music Awards, whatever.
Yeah.
They like came out and people were like, "Oh my God, they're actors!" Like,
Yeah, no, seriously, they did such a good job with the marketing strategy. They
yeah,
used the internet, with the
I
primitive
know.
internet at the time, and yeah, that
Dial up.
movie scared the hell out of me when I saw
It
it
was
as a
so
kid.
good.
Yeah, no, it was great. And then since then, like they've been trying to recapture that magic. One movie I've never seen, I'm like kind of afraid to, is Cannibal Holocaust, which have you ever seen that?
Oh, I think so. At the shop, very frequently, like I have TVs set up in the shop for customers. It passes the time better than like music and stuff. I feel like so
Mhm.
we'll put on movies. So at the Beauty Mark, we definitely watched that a couple times. I've heard the movie more than I've watched it.
Wow. Okay, so you have that on in the background there? Holy crap.
Yeah, it doesn't make for a good environment if everybody's not in on it. It makes it real uncomfortable real quick.
I've heard a lot about it, and I think like the animal murder stuff, like the real animal
Yeah,
murder, I'm just like I don't know if I can handle this, but that's a
yeah.
found footage movie too, where like the director, I believe, hired or kept the actors in Italy with him for a
Oh,
year,
okay.
and the families literally thought that that they were dead, and
Interesting.
yeah, the director went to jail actually, so
That's wow. That's pretty
yeah.
diabolical then.
Yes. I mean, I think it was for animal cruelty. I think that was the
That would
charge.
make
But
sense.
yeah. But yeah, so found footage is like it's unfortunately like it hasn't achieved, I feel like since the Blair Witch has kind of been like a little bit of a downward spiral,
Yeah.
but dude, there's gems. Like I genuinely love the Hell House movies. I really enjoy those. And
Hmm.
I don't know if you've seen another one. It came out right before this, and it reminds me a lot of this one. Is The Last Exorcism? Have you seen that one?
I I've watched I don't remember if I've seen The Last Exorcism. I've seen so many different like exorcism movies. I don't remember if I've seen it. I think I watched it. I don't remember any of it though.
That's one of the best found footage exorcism movies I've ever seen. It came
Okay.
out a year before this one, fairly similar in style and tone a little bit, but it got a
Okay.
wide release. I don't know why. That one did really well.
Hmm.
But yeah, now this one, I don't know, man. I don't know why it didn't do that great, but it shows enough. It's not over,
It's so good.
yeah, like it deserves more than it gets, unfortunately, and I don't
It
get
does.
why it didn't get better, wide release, I guess.
I don't know.
Where do we leave off in the
So
plot?
so they when they're touring, I think that they showed her the switchboard and she talked and that's where she first mentions that she everybody like all these important people would have their calls routed through her and she had to like keep their secrets.
Right.
So she starts
Oh
talking
yeah.
about like that a little bit and then
Yeah.
then it cuts to like her gardening and like there's a moment where she is digging through with her spade and she like you just see her kind of gently lifting a snake up out of the dirt and
Mm.
they like and I think Mia comes out of the house and they like cut over to Mia and then back and Deborah's like right in front of the camera and she's like let's get some lunch like just something so like such a throwaway thing.
Yeah, and then, yeah, and when you watch it again, you're like, oh, isn't that where the body was buried? Isn't that
Yeah,
Henry? Yeah,
it's
so
underneath that statue.
yeah, and the snake's there. Yeah, damn.
Yeah,
Yeah, good rewatch value for this one.
yeah.
Uh, yeah, so yeah, I guess the characters a little bit. Mia, and I can't remember the other guys behind the camera's names, but
Yes. there's Mia, then Gavin is the guy that like the main cameraman, and then Luis is the one that's like setting up the CCTV cameras and stuff. There's Gavin's the white one, and then and then
Right,
Luis
right.
is like the ethnic hire or whatever. But so he's the one that sets up like the CCTV, Jesus, in like the corners of the house and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, Gavin's the one that like she gets into a fight with. Like, they like I think hard cut there, and it's like in the middle of the night, and she's like flipping out at Gavin,
Mm,
asking where her spade is, like trying to find her spade.
right. Okay. Yeah, those characters like they're fine, but I feel like the people in front of the camera more like we just
Yeah,
obviously they're more interesting,
yeah.
but the one scene that I did really like in the beginning with I like what was it, Gavin, and what was the other one?
Gavin and Luis. Yeah,
Louise. I think it's Louise, and he's in the bedroom or whatever, and Sarah goes up to him and is like, "Say thank you." Like go up to her and say
yeah.
thank you.
It's yeah. So that happens with her and Gavin, and so it's when they're touring the house. She's like, hey, like thank her for the hospitality, and he
Yeah.
like so awkwardly is like, hey, Deb, hey, thank you for having us here for the hospital, and she's just like, yeah, you're welcome. Like she's trying to help them build rapport with Deb so that she
Yep.
like maybe relaxes a little bit.
I love that. I thought that said so much about her character and just kind of
It
like,
does.
yeah, and also about Sarah being like, okay, I need to make this work and this is how it'll work. They got to suck up to my mom a little bit.
Yeah.
And
It
yeah,
also it also kind of makes Gavin look like a bit of an ingrate. Like he's a little just ungrateful the whole time and just like he's kind of rough around the edges. He's kind of a dick.
yeah. Yeah, the guys definitely are throughout the movie. They're just like, I want double my rate. It's like, me
Yeah, yeah,
too.
yeah.
And she's like, God damn it. Because that was the other thing I was thinking of. Like, I think Mia must be from a family that's wealthy because, like, how is she
Yeah, maybe.
paying Deborah Logan's, for this whole thing
Right.
and hiring this film crew and all this stuff? Like, it's kind
Unless
of
she had
crazy.
like some kind of a grant from a hospital or
Mm,
something like that, maybe.
yeah, that
Or
could be too.
from film company, who knows? They don't really again, that's they don't fully outline where the money's coming from, but
Yeah, they
she
don't need
seems
to.
to be at the head of it.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Yeah, they don't that wouldn't add anything. But yeah, so then we're basically everything's set up, the cameras are set up, and I can't
Yeah.
remember what the first weird thing is. It was
So
it the
so
spade?
after yeah, so after they have the argument about the spade, and then they break everything up, and then it's kind of like they're trying to figure everything out. They're searching for the spade to try to like put her at ease.
Right.
And which they end up finding it like in the freezer, and then when they try to go and show it to her, they come into there's the one room that they keep coming back to. This is the first time they come into it, but they come back to this room a few times where she's just blankly, almost in like a fugue state, staring out the window,
Yeah.
and they're like, she's like, "Mom, we found the spade," and like when she finally turns around, she starts making this like almost animalistic, like feral noise, and she's ripping at the skin on her throat,
Oh.
and it's like that first body horror thing where, anytime anybody gets like skinned or they like flay like that, it just, it just, I feel it and I hate it.
Yeah, dude, I hate that kind of stuff too. Like
Yeah.
Terrifier was like that a little bit, and
Yeah. Yeah. At the
there's a
moments
movie.
in, the recent one, Bring Her Back.
Yes, that's exactly what I was just thinking
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
too.
Yeah. When he's like chewing on the knife or when he starts peeling at his, just, oh, like
It
just,
reminded me of Don't Bring Her Back
yeah. Yeah.
or Bring Her Back with the peel. Yeah,
Yeah. When he
man.
starts ripping, it makes my skin crawl every time.
Yeah, that was so bad. And I thought I mean, she couldn't die that early, but that was pretty
It
brutal.
was rough. That was
Yeah.
a brute, like, because is ripping, and that's when they cut to the hospital where they're bringing her in. And it's so funny too. I don't know if do you ever watch Curb Your Enthusiasm?
Oh yeah, for sure.
So Dr. Nazir,
Mm.
she plays Shara, who's like the Palestinian chicken, the woman that Larry like sleeps
Oh
with. she's
yeah.
like, she's the one that like is luring him to the Palestinian chicken place. You know what I mean?
Yes,
Like,
I do. I totally
yeah,
remember that
yeah.
episode.
So
That's so
seeing her
funny.
being like the Alzheimer's like specialist doctor is so funny.
That's hysterical. I know exactly that episode, and now I'm
Yeah, yeah,
picturing her, and yep, totally. That's
yeah,
so
yeah,
funny. Yeah, because the hospital, that's a whole nother kind of thing that happens. Yeah, Dr.
yeah.
Nazir is her doctor, but they're like seeing like all this shit that's going on with her because she's going in the
Right.
hospital like every 15 minutes basically in this movie
I
for
know, and,
something.
and clearly they had it established where like she's doing her check-ins and stuff. But then so this is where Dr. Nazir tells Sarah that the disease is like accelerating and that she seems to be declining at like a very accelerated rate.
Yeah.
And Sarah's like, what do you mean? Like, you told us it was going to be like years. And she's like, well, can't predict things, and it like, and it's heartbreaking, because they're trying to figure this out, trying to like care for her as best as possible, and rounding this awful corner.
And for Sarah, especially, like she has no idea that there's
I
anything
know.
demonic going on. So she's like, what the? She must think it's the cameras. She's
Yeah,
like, why is my mom tearing her throat out now that these
yeah.
cameras are here, you know?
It's that that classic thing of like putting the frog in the water and then setting it to boil. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
she's been watching her decline this entire time, so it maybe just doesn't seem too out of like the realm of normal or too far gone. Um, but it seems like it's all starting to come out. Like maybe she's hitting this almost like turning point of like mental weakness,
Mm,
because later on they kind of talk about that, where it's that somebody, because they at a certain point she talks to a priest who tells
mm,
her that people who are like infirm, or people who have like are mentally weakened, are more susceptible to like possessions.
right.
So maybe because it's accelerating now, he's starting to come through.
Yeah, that's definitely what it must be because there's no other really like inciting incident that causes this to
No,
start happening, right? I mean, it's just
no. And then you also, I don't remember when we meet him, but her neighbor Harris,
right. I was just
the
gonna
guy
bring
that
him up.
like,
Yeah.
yeah, so he's the one who is like, seems like he helps her with the yard work and stuff, and they're like obviously close friends,
Hmm.
Deborah and Harris. And his theory is just like, it's the cameras, like the cameras are stressing him out, like get him out of here.
Right. Yeah, and that's kind of like again like paranormal activity a little bit where they think because of the cameras and they're documenting it, that's what's
Right,
kind of kicking it all off. And in this one though, I think what you just said is right because they do mention like the young, the old, and the infirmed are the most susceptible to
right,
this. So I think you're right. Like at this stage, maybe she's focused on it more because the crew's there and she's like, it's all we're talking about, it's all we're thinking
yeah.
about. So maybe, or maybe it was just, yeah, it was just kind of like the straw that broke the camel's back, and then boom, now she's getting possessed. But
It honestly could even be so, like in that scene where you see her digging up the dirt and pulling the
mm,
snake, it could even be something as simple as that, is like she in whatever fugue state is going and digging and
yeah,
accidentally disturbed their little makeshift grave and like woke it up.
yeah, totally, dude. Like yeah, because she's losing her mind to a degree. Like she wouldn't have
Right.
remembered it was there, and
Yeah, because
then yeah,
because when she's in her like when she's fully present and lucid, she would know not to go and do that.
right, right. That's probably it. That probably is it. Yeah. And then the next thing that she does is like they get this on camera, but she just like jumps and like appears on top of like the
Oh yeah, yeah,
stove,
yeah.
right?
The like digital artifact kind of moment where
Yeah.
so there's okay. I took so many notes. So so after so they when they're bringing her home from the hospital, she apologizes to Gavin for like acting up, and she's like, I'm couldn't would never talk to anybody like that. And then
Right.
they start going, and so when they get back to the house, Gavin's like going through Deb's paintings, and
Mm,
he starts flipping through, and there's like she keeps painting the one window, and you see like there's the little dark figure, like a little shadow standing like out in the like the woods line, like the forest line.
yeah.
um and then what is it, oh there's another one of these moments where so once they're home and they're settled in, the camera is like looking through the little crack in the door, and Deborah's sitting on the corner of her bed talking to herself in the mirror,
Right.
where she's sitting on the corner and she's got like the bandage on her neck, and you can't hear what she's saying. I like put on subtitles. I'm like, what is she? And it's just like mumbling to herself or whatever. And it's like she's saying something about him, or like he's something. And then again, she spots the camera in the mirror, and it's just hatred and anger. And then it just like cuts out.
Was that because there's a part where she's like, I told you to stay away, or I told him to stay away, maybe. Maybe that
That
was
might,
it.
maybe that's it. Yeah. That could
Yeah.
be it.
Because you're right, because all of the paintings, because in the beginning it's like, oh, these are fun paintings she does for a hobby and
Right.
stuff. And then later you learn you're like every painting is so yeah, got
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
figure and
It's
I'm
like
assuming.
obsessive painting.
Yeah, and that's gotta be that Henry,
Yeah. The Desjardins.
Jardine guy. Yeah. So yeah, it's creepy. And I don't know, I guess answer it now in case I forget. And I want to know if you know, because I don't. why is this guy able to come back to life? Because didn't he need all five girl victims for this to
So
work?
so the guy laid in, so when they pull up and they watch the documentary, they lay out the whole belief is it was this like uh it was like a cult that worships like an ancient serpent is
Yeah.
like the thing, and it's the ritual consists of like you said, killing five young girls specifically. It very specifically is a demon that needs to be fed by sacrificing them when they're bleeding on their first period.
Right.
It's like so specific, which
Yeah.
is awful. But uh and so he was sick and he was dying, and he was trying to do this ritual because if the ritual is completed, he can then live forever. Like he's
Mhm.
allowed to either be immortal or be reborn or whatever. Again, it's not super clear as to why he is able to come back. I
Yeah.
don't know if it's just there's. Oh wait, there is a part. That same when they go and actually interview the specialist and they're talking to him, he tells them the story about it's in like Africa or something like that. There's, or maybe it was Jamaica. I don't remember where it is. Let
Yeah.
me, did I did I take notes about it?
I remember what you're talking about though. Yeah.
The specialist, the guy that's like the historian or whatever, he
Right.
talks about how because he studies like possessions and whatnot. And he was saying that there was a mother whose son had died from like tuberculosis or something like that, and so she was so obsessed and had kept her son's remains and was like keeping them close and like still hugging her dead son and stuff like that, and obsessed so much over him that she like started becoming him, basically like started acting like him, started taking on his mannerisms and like even up to his voice.
Okay.
And then they talk about how the only way that they were able to break that bond to like actually put him to rest was by burning his remains.
Right. Right.
So they had to
Very.
like very specifically they had to burn the body of like the possessing entity.
Yeah, like that definitely all makes sense. I guess the thing is like the mother loved the son and like was
Right.
holding on to the body, and that sort of
Right.
thing. So I could kind of understand maybe why like the soul would transfer or whatever. But
Right.
this was like she murdered, she found out because she was the phone operator, right? That,
Right.
oh, this guy's gonna murder my daughter. So Deborah and Harris worked together to kill Henry or
Right.
whatever, and then they buried him in her backyard. But he's like Freddy Krueger now. He's just like, I'm gonna
Right.
haunt your kids'
Yeah.
dreams, basically. Like, I'm gonna come back. And but like, why is he like a serial killer that's able to come back?
it,
I don't know. It doesn't
it's
matter.
not, again, it's one of those things where it's not fully clear.
Yeah.
They kind of make it sound like in Deborah's mental illness, like mentally ill state, that she's so obsessed. Like one of the guys theorizes, one of the like the demonic specialist guy, he says that it seems like because of her mental illness, she's obsessed so much with Desjardins that she thinks that she is him.
Right.
And so
Okay.
it's almost like she's willing it into existence by
Mm,
keeping him in her thoughts, or by thinking that she's him, that it maybe is like taking his spirit into her or something. It's not
yeah.
clear.
That's the thing. Like, I thought the whole time Harris was going to be in on it. I thought that he was like somehow
Right.
orchestrating some sort of possession. And I
Right.
feel like that might have made it a little bit less kind of like convoluted and confusing a little bit, is if like
Yeah.
he had an assistant or something that was trying to like finish his work for him. I don't
Like
know.
Saw.
Kind of, yeah,
Yeah.
honestly, something like that. Um, because I've seen this movie a few times and I'm always just like, do I really get this? Do I understand like what exactly is going on? But
There's a few moments, and I love the way that they use the like electronic interference and electronic disturbances.
yeah, yeah.
So they have the scene with the switchboard. So there's another moment there where they're trying, she gets up in the middle of the night, which is funny too, because these things happening at night, it plays on so many levels, because there's, like the witching hour type thing where stuff happens at night. But then there's also like, I don't know if you ever saw The Visit.
Yeah, the M. Night
There's,
Shyamalan one.
yeah,
Yeah,
because they really harp on sundowning, which is a real thing.
yeah.
Where like in with some people in certain conditions, after the sun goes down, after like when it's nighttime, they lose it for
Mhm.
whatever reason. It's not exactly known, but it's because this stuff happens at night. It could be sundowning, it could be like a witching hour kind of thing.
All right.
It's not clear, but that's when like that electronic artifact thing happens that you were talking about before, where she just like teleports up onto the counter,
Mm,
where they see her standing in the kitchen, and then there's this other thing. So there's the moment where she's like out of bed. They see her get like just snap awake and get out of bed, and they can't find her. And then she's like going into this room, and it's like a long thing to get into the room because Sarah's, like these doors are never open. None of these
yeah.
doors are ever open.
Yeah.
And they finally get up to the switchboard, and Deborah's like sitting at it, and she's kind of talking, and she starts like slamming the peg into one of the holes,
Yeah.
and then it like explodes. There's like a huge shock,
Yeah. In the
and in that
face.
yes, in that moment, so I like found and downloaded it because I didn't know if you had saw it, but like it's a negative image, so it almost looks like a night shot on like a handy cam, like it's like an
Yeah.
inverse image.
Yep.
If you flip the image, it's crazy.
Really?
Have you seen it? Yeah, there's a
No.
way I can like see if I can. Sorry, I don't want to derail too far.
No, no. Can I Google it or did you do something to it?
I googled it and found it. I was gonna say like I don't know if I can screen share or send it to you or whatever,
I
but
think you can screen share, actually. I
because
think.
there's two different. See, there's two moments. There's two different times that this happens.
Let's see.
Where one
Oh, so yeah, if you go to more and then at the top share and then share screen options, I think. Try that.
or share disabled participant screen sharing. Okay, so I can't, but it's okay. I can like
Oh shoot. Okay. You send it
if
to
you
me after, or if I can Google it maybe.
yeah, if you Google Deborah Logan switchboard face, I think you'll be able to find it if you just go to images. Yes, it's like the first one.
Okay. Let's see.
It's like a post on Reddit where somebody took and inverted and like
Oh
and cleaned up
yeah.
the image a little bit.
Oh God, the jaw is like all like
It's
destroyed.
yes, it's again, it's another like foreshadowing thing where it's this giant like scary face with like an unhinged jaw. Like
Ooh.
like the mouth is opened wider than the rest of the face. Like it's so terrifying.
Yeah, and
And
they only use it
it's
for
like
like
a
one
single
second.
frame.
Yeah,
It's literally just a boop, and
it's like
it's an inverse image of this. But it was just like, oh my god, it like watching back. I had to like I was like, no, go back. I was like, I know it's there.
you're going frame by frame.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, it's like The Exorcist with like that Pazuzu, just where the face just flashes for like 1 second.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
love
it's
that
like in
stuff.
Fight Club where he's putting up like one frame of porn in the middle
Oh
of the
yeah. Yeah,
movie.
yeah, exactly. But yeah, no, it's got some scary moments, this movie. It really does. I mean, I thought the ending when, she's like eating the girl's head, like I
That
was like, what the fuck?
that is one of the most terrifying visuals ever.
Yeah.
Going so like what when it came out, I watched it blind, didn't know anything about it. When that scene hit, like my jaw did the same. I was just like, I was like, oh my god, like it's so horrifying, and
Yeah, she's like a snake.
it's played so perfectly. Yeah, so they basically she gets sick further and further. There's like a moment where the doctors are looking, and she has like a rash on her back that's like
Mm,
scaly. They specifically say it's like scales, and it's like
right.
sloughing off, like she's shedding, and they can't
Yeah.
figure out why. Um, yeah, so
Well, I
I
specifically wanted to ask you actually because you being a tattoo artist, dude, the
yeah,
scene
yeah.
where they're doing the spinal tap, like, does
Oh
stuff
my
like
God.
that bother you? Because you're doing needles and skin all day, you know?
It's so different though. Like with tattooing, the needle does not go in nearly as far as an
Right,
actual like hypodermic needle.
right.
And like spinal taps in particular are so gnarly.
Yeah.
It's like any like body horror, it definitely lands. And I every time it makes me like it makes my teeth crawl.
Oof. As I've never interviewed I've never had a guest that's
Yeah.
a tattoo artist before. So I'm always just like,
Yeah,
would
yeah.
they, obviously, because you were saying the skin peeling thing earlier. I'm like, okay, like I get that. It's nothing like a tattoo. But like
Of
needle
course.
stuff, does needle stuff freak you out at all?
Not in particular. I mean, it's obviously I'm desensitized to a lot of it.
Yeah.
I will always laugh though, because no movie has ever really accurately depicted tattooing ever.
Okay.
There, like nobody, like there's always something where like you could tell it's an actor, they don't know what they're doing. Like there's so many different things where it's like they're moving in a way and you're like, that, okay. Like, yeah, that's not how it works, but sure, it's close enough.
What'd you think of Final Destination 6? Did you see that?
Is that the newest one?
Yeah.
it was pretty good. I watched it once, maybe twice.
There's a big
Um,
tattoo that one of the guys in the movie is a tattoo artist.
oh yeah, 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 yeah. That is in this. Oh my God. It was very goofy.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
was very goofy. Yeah, there was like a few parts watching and it was just like, okay. I don't remember the specifics, but I remember watching it was like the cable getting like wrapped around the fan or
Oh
whatever. Wasn't
yeah.
that one?
Yeah,
The
his
ceiling
nose
fan?
ring got like hooked on the
Oh my
yeah,
God. Yeah,
yeah.
it was just like, sure. Just all the like any different bit of like potential stereotype, just throw it in there.
Right, right, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, that scene though where they're doing the Spinal Tap too, like it is, I think at that point
Oh,
they're kind of like, all right, her back looks like a snake, like this isn't
right.
Alzheimer's.
They're trying to figure out, yeah, and they just keep going, we don't know what's wrong. We don't
Right.
know what's going on. Like they every time they bring her back, it's advancing way further and something's going horribly wrong. Um
Yeah. And it's not
there's
Alzheimer's symptoms either. So they're just like, we like don't know
no.
what this is.
Then there's also so there's another scene too so there's like a part where it's around so like day 41. So it's like they've been there for a while. They've seen her deteriorating.
Yeah.
There's a time when the crew is pulling up, and when they're like approaching the door, they can just hear like another one of those like feral, like animalistic shouts from Deborah. So they like bust in, and they're like Harris and Sarah are like wrestling her on the ground.
Mm.
And there's a moment where it took me a second. I had to like watch it back. So there's a moment where they're wrestling with her, and then Harris pulls something out of Deb's mouth, and then he kind of just goes like and like tosses it, and you hear it clank on the ground. It was one of the porcelain children.
Oh.
So they were wrestling with her because she was trying to eat one of the kids.
Oh, I
So it's
definitely can
another
see that.
yeah, so it's another moment of foreshadowing where she's trying to eat a child, and then
Mm.
she like falls on the ground or whatever, and she's like there or it's a different scene there, but she's like vomiting dirt where she's puking up dirt and earthworms and stuff. She
Yeah.
keeps trying to eat things.
Right. Because they say like, yeah, they like she threw up earthworms. And it's like, isn't she a
Yeah.
gardener? Or like, ha
She's
ha
like,
ha.
maybe she just got a mouthful of sod. I don't know. Like
Yeah.
they're so dismissive about it. But yeah,
Yeah.
so when she eats one of the children, it's not clear. It's not a good clear shot, so you can't see what it is. And
Hmm.
then the next morning, they're packing up all the porcelain kids, and she's like, I don't know why we have to. And Sarah's like, well, it's because you like to eat them, Mom. You know, like, and she's
Yeah.
like clearly upset, and like it's never clear if Deb is aware of what's going on,
Right. You're oh
like if
damn.
she's putting stuff together.
I gotta rewatch this now again, remembering stuff. Yeah, because that there is so much that I went over my head for sure.
Yeah,
So the whole like basically, we talked about this a few times that they're trying to kill a fifth girl, and that's gonna
right.
complete this whole spell or whatever. So hear me out, hear me out. The girl that they get is a girl that has cancer at the hospital. So she's
Yes,
like a sick girl in the
the girl
hospital.
Kara, she has leukemia.
And they keep Deborah keeps going to the hospital, so they keep, kind of
Yeah.
seeing this girl a little bit. Hear me out. What if Sarah had a daughter and the daughter was the one that she was going to try and kill? Because like that would have added so much more like levity to the situation. Because like
Mm,
I was kind of like, who is this girl? Like I like kind of like didn't remember where they're like walking in the woods with her. I was like, did we meet this
yeah.
girl before? I was like, who was this girl? She just happens to be a random girl. If it
Yeah,
was Sarah's daughter, I feel like that
that
would have,
could have added another layer to it for
yeah,
sure. And
I
it would
don't
have
know.
almost that could have been good.
I don't know, because you do get the dad who's just like, where the fuck is he? Like he's like
Yeah.
freaking out. But I was just like, who was that guy too? And then he just like is kind of gone from the
Yeah,
movie.
it kind of just starts up randomly. So she keeps going to that same girl, Kara,
Hmm.
which it doesn't say where she found her, how she found her, whatever. It's just they're in the hospital. And it almost now talking about it, it seems like maybe Desjardins keeps doing these things specifically to get Deb's body to the hospital
Mm,
because he can find a sick child to fulfill the fifth now,
that makes
which will
sense.
maybe bring him back.
That makes sense because yeah, because it seems literally like I said earlier, like every like other scene is basically like Deborah's hurt, get
Oh
her to the
yeah,
hospital, or like
yeah.
she did
She keeps
something.
hurting herself,
Yeah, so
and
that would make sense.
there's a point too where so when they're walking out of the hospital, one of the times Sarah's talking to the priest, and that's when he starts talking about like demonic possession and stuff.
Yeah.
Um, and then when they get one of the times they're at the house, and Gavin is like, I don't necessarily believe in this stuff, but I don't care. Like I'm not taking any chances, kind of thing. And he takes a cross, and he goes because one of the nights Deborah, again in like a blank fugue state kind of thing, she's like nailing the window shut, and Sarah's like, "Here we go again, Ma. We gotta nail the window shut." And so he goes and he hangs the cross on one of the nails on that window,
Right.
and then all of a sudden Deborah's just there. She just like materializes next to him, and she speaks in a man's voice.
Yeah, that was
She just
scary.
she just goes, "You're letting all my heat out."
Yep.
And then the window just snaps open.
That was really scary, but I would imagine, was that supposed to be Henry, I think, that voice?
It seems like it.
I would think he would have
It
like a
feels like
French
it.
accent though. I was thinking he
Maybe.
would have that, but I don't know. But regardless, that was so scary. So I was just like,
It
whatever.
was yeah, it was a good terrifying moment. And then
Yeah.
that's when the crew is like, we need double pay, like we
Yeah.
refuse.
I mean, I probably would be out of there at that point. I think that's the other thing
Yeah.
about found footage movies is people, I need a better justification for why they're sticking around after a while. But
Yeah. I
I
mean their
mean,
justification is just that they're on a project and they're working. They're getting paid for it.
I know, but eventually I'm like, listen, this lady, this is like, she's cutting her throat up,
Yeah.
like, I don't know if I can handle this
She's
anymore,
hurting
but
herself. She's a danger to everybody else.
like literally, yeah.
Yeah.
So this is towards the end of the film now. Yeah, so takes the girl, the little girl from the hospital, and she's
Yes.
taking her to the woods because she's going to take her to, I guess, where the other girls were killed.
So, yeah, so there's a couple so she takes her there's actually like there's two times that she takes her. So the first time she doesn't get out of the hospital. The first
Right.
time she takes her, they found her in like it looks like a kitchen or something like that where it's all closed down, and she's just like they're both staring into the corner, very Blair Witch-ish.
Yeah.
And they like bring her back and they put her back. But then when it goes like really wrong, so there's a moment where like Harris comes to the hospital because after she tried to take her the first time, they restrain her. She's restrained into the hospital bed. Harris comes in and she like begs him to kill her. And so he tries to smother her with a pillow,
Yeah.
and the TV gets like telepathically like blasted into the back of Harris and puts him down.
Yeah.
But then so when she pulls her arm again, so when she's restrained, when she gets Kara the second time, so she's restrained to the bed, she like her skin like sheds, like sloughs off, and she pulls her arm out of one of the restraints
Yeah.
and then uses that arm to release the rest of them, which again, body horror, skin just degloving is very uncomfortable.
Oh, dude.
And then there's a moment there too that I didn't catch the first time. So they're all in a panic, and you see Kara's parents being like, "Where is she?" That's who those people are that are just the random guy. It's Kara's father.
Yeah.
And so, and you hear Dr. Nazir saying that one of the guards is like downstairs and he's being treated. And you hear Sarah being like, "Being treated for what?" And Dr. Nazir says he's being treated for snake venom.
Yeah.
That he's being and then it shows the CCTV footage where Deborah and Kara are walking out and the guards like trying to stop them, and she like bites him on the neck, and it's like, oh, she bit him and he's now afflicted with snake venom. Interesting.
Yeah, yeah, that scene was pretty intense too. Yeah, exactly. On the security footage, and he's like
Yeah.
standing there. And then there was another scene where, oh my God. Oh yeah, so what's his name? Harris survives this though, the television hitting
Yeah,
him.
yeah.
Yeah, so that was kind of crazy. So Sarah and Mia, they go and they talk to Harris, and Harris is like, "We saved you. You are gonna be the fifth." And his body, it's by the statue, and like all this stuff. And then I think
Yeah,
he
yeah, yeah.
dies. I think.
So when after he gets hit with the TB, he's in the hospital, and yeah, Sarah goes and they're like, "You can't be in here," that whole thing, and she's like, "No," and he whispers and says exactly that. He says, "You were supposed to be the fifth. Your mom killed him. She stabbed him in the neck with her spade.
Mhm.
We buried him under the statue."
Yeah,
And
but
so they're
how did they figure out though that there's that thing buried upstairs in the attic though?
so they go back to the house. They're trying to dig up the remains. They get they get in there with shovels and stuff like that.
Yeah.
When they dig up, they're like, there's nothing here, there's nothing here, and then all of a sudden they hit something, and what they hit was Deborah's spade. So she had
Right.
dug up the remains, but left her spade in there and then buried it back over.
Right.
So
Right.
so they're like, oh, she already dug it up. So they're like, the remains have to be in the house. So they start going through the house, and then while they're running around, they look at the ceiling, and above
Oh, that's like
there's
the
like
water damage.
there's like
Yeah.
there's a section where clearly there's like dirty water damage where there's like a dirt ring around it, and
Right.
they go up, and in like the insulation she had put like a burlap sack with his remains in there.
Yeah. And the snakes, and they try to burn it, and they
Yeah,
can't
yeah.
burn it. Yeah.
So they
Yeah.
first find it, and it's just like dirt and bones. They bring it downstairs. When they bring it downstairs, they like drop the bag, and like a snake comes out of it.
Mm-hmm.
And then they go and they try to bring it and set it on fire. When they try to set it on fire, there's another single frame thing there. So when they try to set it on fire, they douse it with fluid, and then they're trying to light it and it won't light. And then when it finally does light, it like explodes and it sends them back.
Right.
And in that moment, the camera flashes again, and there's a single symbol, and it's this like it's a symbol from the documentary that they were watching earlier, where it's like
Oh.
it's like an Ouroboros. It's like a
Yeah.
snake eating itself with
Yep.
like the bloody symbol, and it almost looks like a crosshair.
Yep. Yep.
And that flashes for a second, and it so they can't like it's not letting them set it on fire, kind of a thing.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that was cool. That was cool. So they go chase after Deborah at this point then because
Yeah.
they know
So
they have to
so
stop her.
once they get out of the hospital, then they go up to they talk about the he was trying to do it in a specific river.
Yeah,
It's
the
like the River
Rouge.
Rouge. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
And when they're chasing through the woods, um the Sheriff Tweed, she's like, this is the River Rouge from that document. I remember hearing about that in a documentary, and I was like, oh, okay. So they're at the river, and they follow that up to it's like a log house,
Yeah.
like a mill or whatever that has this like convoluted set of caves. Um, and Tweed goes in, you hear a gunshot, Sarah panics and like runs in, and you see Tweed like on the ground, presumably shot. There's blood, pooling around her, and there's a snake slithering away from her.
Hmm.
And so
Yeah.
then the rest of the crew leaves. Sarah and Mia are like, obviously Sarah's not giving up, but Mia's like, I can't give up on them. Like I need to figure it. So she chases down,
Yeah.
and then
Really
that's
quick
where,
before
yeah,
that though, there's no way in hell that sheriff would be like, "Yeah, you guys come film me doing this. I'm not gonna call for backup. I don't need a flashlight. Let's use the camera light." Like, I just felt so kind of like,
they had backup. If you remember when they first are in pursuit with other cops,
yeah.
they when they first find Deborah and Kara, they're standing. Deborah's facing away and Kara's facing towards the people as they're approaching.
Hmm.
And Kara just is saying over and over, she says, don't hurt him. He's a nice man. He's going to wash me in the river. She's just saying that over and over again.
Yeah.
And then they go up and they try to handcuff Deborah, and Deborah like venom spits into one of the cops' faces.
Oh, right,
And
right.
he like, it's funny because you
Yeah.
only get a little angle of it, but you can see that it's like clearly burnt from where
Hmm.
she spat on him. And so like other people are bringing him out, but Sarah's like, no, I'm not leaving. And earlier there was also a moment where Sarah and Sheriff Tweed have a private conversation that gets caught on camera, and they kind of subtextually show you that Sarah and Tweed have a relationship.
Right.
And
Yeah.
so it kind of lets you bend that like she wouldn't go in there. She knows Sarah's not giving up, and so she's trying to go in there to just out of whatever loyalty she has to Sarah. So I guess
Mhm.
that could be the explanation as to why she's not on the radio.
I'm fine with that. I'm just like, if I was the sheriff, I'd be like, hey, listen, random documentary college students,
Yeah.
you guys are not coming. So, like, I don't
Right.
know what's going on here, but you're not coming, and you're also not
Right.
filming it for sure. So,
Right.
but whatever. Obviously, we need to see
Yeah.
what's going on. But she's
It's
like,
one of
come on,
those
guys.
like it's far-fetched, but like sure.
No,
Like
I
just
know.
ex
I always do this with every movie. I always have to
Yeah,
find
yeah.
like the little stuff. But yeah, no, and then they get to the cave and it's kind of like it a little bit. Like it's this just like
Yeah.
dark, damp cave. And the scene, yeah, we were talking about it earlier, where like Deborah's just eating her head, and
It's
like
so good.
it was scary because it comes out of
It's so
nowhere.
terrifying. Yeah. So they stumble upon them once where they're standing there, and it almost looks like she's people like uh what is it called, like dousing a room or whatever, where they use like they're like saging.
Oh,
You
sure,
know,
sure.
it
Yeah.
almost looks like she's doing that to Kara with a snake. She's just kind of
Yeah.
like passing over her with this snake, and you see it on like the night shot of the camera, and then they like say something to her, and she like screams, and she like attacks Sarah, and then they like scurry away, and then they chase further, and that's when, so at that point Sarah takes out the revolver, and I don't remember if it was like Tweed's revolver, but
Mm,
she pulls out a gun, and it's like she's seemingly potentially willing to put her mom down if it comes to it.
yeah.
They get to the point, she's behind like a stalagmite in like the cave,
Mm.
and she like, Sarah rounds it first, and Sarah's like frozen with fear. And seeing that, Mia like then proceeds around, and that's when they do like the reveal where they're both just like, and you just see her jaw fully unhinged, eating Kara head first. Her head is already fully in her mouth. She's like just just consuming her
Yeah.
exactly like a snake would, which is perfect.
But she does
And
shoot her though. She shoots
she shoots into
Deborah.
the side of the cave.
Oh, I thought she hit Deborah.
No,
Okay.
so she
Oh,
like, she may have hit her with like a ricochet, but she, if you
mm,
look, she points up, and
okay.
she like shoots into like the ceiling of the cave, and like the sound and the ricochet or whatever, like that
Mm,
makes her like lurch and like spit Kara out,
right.
and then her jaw is just open, and she like screams at her, and then Sarah's just like, "Mom, fight him," like just imploring her to just fight him off or whatever.
Yeah, that was all really intense. Like
Oh
this,
my God,
yeah, it got and it like looked great too. I mean, I don't know what the
it
budget
did.
is, obviously, but it
The budget was 1.5 million. I
oh, it
looked it up.
was.
Yeah.
Oh, God. Okay. So dude, they did a decent amount with the budget. Like the
Yeah.
CGI looked good, the makeup looked good on that guy's burnt face, and like
I hate CGI.
yeah, me too.
Hate it. It had to have been CGI for like, I can't they could have probably
Yeah.
done it with prosthetics, but it looks CGI. It's not that bad. I don't know if it's just because it's dimly lit, like
Mm,
just the right amount, or what it was, but it was one of the more palatable CGI moments for me.
definitely. No, this movie did not do anything that annoyed me with CGI at all. It didn't have her like
Yeah.
galloping and like running at
No,
people and
oh my
stuff.
God.
So
There's
uh,
nothing egregious that stuck out as like, this is awful.
no, I think the scariest stuff was just like her face and her acting and stuff like that. And then obviously the scene was pretty intense,
Yeah.
but then so God, I literally just watched this last night. What
Yeah.
the hell happens between that and then all of a sudden the news segment
So,
montage?
okay. So after she shoots and she's begging him to fight him, then they light the bag of remains on fire again.
Hmm.
And so then it like smash cuts to like the news story
Oh, okay.
where Deb is unfit to stand trial, both physically and mentally, has
Yeah.
deteriorated too far to be able to actually defend herself and sit, for specifically for the murder of the sheriff, of Sheriff Tweed, and for like the assault on the other police officers.
Hmm.
Um, so she presumably just withers away and dies.
Yeah.
And then they do the thing where they cut to Kara's birthday party, where they're like, "Oh, she beat leukemia,
Yeah.
and she's got a full head of hair now because she had like the like only a few strands of hair left before, from presumably from leukemia treatments and everything."
Yeah.
And she's like fine, and she's good, and the reporter's like, "Oh, it's a big day. Like, do you have any plans?" And she's like, "Well, I have plans, but they're a secret." And like she starts showing that she's kind of like, she has this like evil little creepy smile towards the
Yeah.
camera, and it just kind of like fades out on that.
Yeah, it's like the Omen ending. She just like
Yeah,
looks
yeah.
and smiles and then it just ends and
The
yeah,
only
so
thing
we're
missing was like a Vincent Price laugh would have really.
yeah, so what are we supposed to believe then that Henry transferred to her now?
Potentially, I don't. It's again, and maybe this is why these random like plot hole type things, or why they were like, this is not, nobody's gonna be able to follow this. Is maybe why they didn't have a full release and everything. But no, it's presumably like, okay, did the ritual somehow get complete? Maybe Tweed maybe Tweed was the final girl, like, but she's not the right age. We don't know if she's on her period. We can't say that, but presumably it would not be on her first one, if anything.
Yeah.
So we don't know how, because the ritual as it was stated wouldn't have been completed in that scenario
Yeah. So,
unless
like,
Kara died and we didn't see her die and she's now reborn as Dehardine.
it's a little confusing, and I think that's exactly
Yeah,
what you said earlier, where it's like that these little nitpicky things, it
yeah,
makes it kind of like, I'm like, it just doesn't sink the landing enough for me to be like, dude, it's
yeah,
so good. The ending will blow you away. The ending's more like, what? Is
yeah.
that Henry or is
It's
it?
like, okay, maybe, but what if, but could have been. It's,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. But I still like really enjoy it though, even though
yeah,
there's, and I feel like the way that you've described it, watching it multiple times, you start to appreciate the little details more.
yeah.
So
I
I'm gonna
do.
give it.
So I definitely, I enjoy a slow burn
Hmm.
in any kind of, and they really did a good job. It naturally progresses to where I feel like when you watch it, as far as like pacing goes, you don't ever want your audience to get there a half hour before the movie does, right? Like
Oh
you
yeah.
want to like build and develop the story organically and properly so that like it's a surprise, and so there are these moments that are like, oh my god. So I feel like it does a good job of like of kind of threading and like pulling you through the movie of like as it develops, and it feels very natural, and there's a lot of like scary things, and there's never a clear like there are some things where it's like, well, that could be Alzheimer's
Mm-hmm.
or it could be this, and I feel like it progresses into the possession thing in like a good pace.
Mm-hmm.
And then yeah, and then the full reveal by like using the documentary about the serial killer, about Dehardine and everything. I feel like it develops the story very well,
Mm.
and it just I loved it. It felt like a better version of The Visit.
Oh yeah. No, I like this more than The Visit for sure.
Because
Yeah.
I only bring up The Visit because The Visit also kind of toys with this like nighttime scary stuff, all centering around mental illness,
Yeah,
just
yeah. There's a
very
good twist in that
loosely in that.
one. I feel like the reason that one probably did so well is because the twist is just so kind of like
That one,
digestible.
it felt like a living urban legend. It felt like a
Yeah.
story that you would have heard like I don't know. I feel like there was a time when urban legends, everybody was telling these stories, and
Mm.
it sounds like one that would have been an urban legend.
Yeah, this one, yeah, it just gets a little too complicated, but overall, like the acting's incredible for what it is,
Yeah.
for what they do with the budget, it's fantastic. They didn't need to make a sequel, but they probably could have made something similar. I don't know, with a
Do you know, it's
different.
so funny. I don't know if it's because of like always on cameras and microphones and stuff like that. Maybe it's because I just watched this movie so many times again. A thing popped up the other day that was like Taking a Deborah Logan too, and I was like, no. I was like,
How
that
could
seems
they?
like an AI. I was like, there's no way.
Yeah, I mean, the only way they could do it wouldn't be the taking of Deborah Logan. It would have to be the taking of someone else.
Yeah, of
Like,
Kara, whoever the hell.
yeah, because
I
it
don't remember
just
if they said her last name.
the actress is still alive, Deborah Logan, she is, but
Yeah, yeah.
who knows, who knows. But overall, no, I'm very glad that I finally have covered this on a podcast. I will say the one like great thing this movie has going for it is great poster. Poster's so good for this
Oh
movie.
yeah, the red and black one with
Yeah,
Deborah's face.
I love that. I think
It's
that's so
so good.
creepy. Yeah.
It is
So,
very creepy.
and that's tough nowadays to pull off a great poster. Like I feel like they were so incredible in the 70s, 80s, and 90s. And
Yeah,
then, but today or this is 10 years ago, but still, they did a good
yeah.
job. So, but yeah, Steve, you got any last minute thoughts on Taking a Deborah Logan?
No, if you haven't watched it, watch it. If you have watched it, watch it again. Check it out.
Definitely. There's things I 100% missed. And now that I've rewatched it so recently, I do want to watch it again because I want to see all those little snakes and all the
It's
weird
yeah,
stuff.
yeah. There's a lot of there's so many little foreshadowing things that I definitely missed the first couple times because I've watched this movie a bunch of times.
Yeah, damn. I know. I think I've seen it like three times too, and I did not remember almost any of it. But
I'm that idiot that like I find something that I like and I'll watch it 100 times. So this may have just like entered that rotation now.
you're the perfect guest for the podcast on for it, so you could fill me in because there's a lot of things I just didn't remember. But well, Steve, this was great, man. I really appreciate you coming on. We'll definitely have to get you on again in the future.
I'd love to. Thank you so much.
Yeah, this is awesome. I don't know. I want Eric to be here next time. I feel like you guys really hit it off. So
Absolutely, dude. I love it.
Sweet. Well, thank you to another Connecticut guy. And yeah, so we actually, the next movie Eric had to spin the wheel because he wasn't here. So it's going to be Christine. And that's going to be, I
That's a
think, with
classic.
Dominic Berger. He's our Stephen King expert. So
Nice.
we'll see if we have him on. But anyway, Stevie, thank you again.
Absolutely.
And
Thank you.
thank everybody for listening in to our discussion today on the Taking of Deborah Logan. We'll see you next week with Christine.